Okay, this is Skisonic, and this is going to be the first in my series of random hot shit. Um, Sometimes when I do or see random hot shit, I'm just going to record it and share it like this because my new phone makes it pretty convenient, and sometimes I just have little things that I want to share. So this one is about stun mechanics in Street Fighter 4, and when I went to make this video, I actually ended up needing to check a few things because I didn't want to make an idiotic claim. So a little bit of backstory. Um, I I stunned someone in this match, and what's cool about it is how the stun kind of goes over time and what happens in between the stun and when the stun starts and when the stun ends. Um, I had a conversation when this Street Fighter 4 first came out with a friend of mine, B Chun, while playing the game. Just really quickly, I think I stunned him with a grab, a normal grab, and it kind of it surprised him. He's like, throw a stun? What's going on? And he was like, he was already in the El Fuerte loop, I think. Just kind of getting messed up, and then he's like, "What? Throw a stun?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, this is Street Fighter because of course throw a stun. That's a normal Street Fighter thing," and I berated him for it, but it seemed kind of odd to me too. I wasn't sure why. It's actually because I'm a CVS2 player as my main Street Fighter like game. That's where my experience lies, and throws do not dizzy in that game. In fact, throws actually tend to reset the stun meter by most accounts because you incur stun through your normal hits like in Street Fighter 4, but the stun will reset after 2 seconds or 2 or so seconds of like non-contact like in Street Fighter 4, but throws don't count as that time. Throws count as time not being in contact, I think, after the throw begins. So if you're throwing across the screen, your stun might just reset. So you don't see a lot of stuns in those games. B Chun played a lot of CVS2 and as well came from Alpha. And turns out that this is a mechanic that comes from Alpha because I know in Third Strike throws stun, and and then Street Fighter 2 throws stun as well. So it seemed kind of strange now that I think about it, but this actually appears to be an Alpha mechanic. I had to go back into Hyper Street Fighter Anniversary Edition on PS2 to just check the stun values. So if these numbers aren't correct or this information isn't accurate, it's because it's that version. But the training mode there has the stun. And I also found out some really weird things. Like in Alpha 1 and 2, there's a bunch of moves that do 1 stun damage on a scale of 40. On a base value of 40. In Alpha 1, everybody in Alpha 1 has 40 stun points. A lot of moves do like 1, seems like combo starters. Like Ryu's Jump Fierce does 1 stun. So you need 40 Jump Fierces to stun someone. And Ryu's Crutch Forward Kick also does 1 stun damage. I think his Crush Jab also does 1 stun damage. And there's other weird moves like that do like 1 stun damage. Meanwhile, like his Close Fierce does like 8 damage. So you need about 8 Fierces, or you need about 5 Fierces. 5 Fierces to just stun someone flat out. Super Turbo, I have no idea what stun value works like in that game. And Third Strike players, whatever, there are stun characters in that game. There are characters that are like, rare to stun you, but the stun's there on the screen. And Alpha 1 and Alpha 2, it seems like stun is kind of there. Like, what I'm getting from this is, this is going forever, but what I'm getting from this is about stun to the Street Fighter designers seems very important, but they also really want to keep it in line. There's always a little mechanic that keeps you from getting stunned twice in a match. That little, if you get stunned, then your stun value resets, and it seems like that would have little or no effect, but I think it's just in those outside cases where if you get stunned really, really quickly with some high value stun moves, then they don't want you to just go getting stunned again. That seems like it would be bad for morale or something. So evidence going all the way back that they're trying to make things noob friendly like Street Fighter 4. But back to the point. Right, very little stun in the game since Alpha, right? You know, you don't see stuns in those games, and it seems like they're actually designed to be less stunful than Street Fighter, and this is one of the things that sets apart the Street Fighter series from the non-Street Fighter games, which is pretty cool, I think. These Street Fighter games are more about stun, and they're designed around stun. They have pretty interesting stun mechanics, but the other games, CVS2, you know, there's a handful of characters that are going to stun you, and if you get stunned, oh, that one hurts. Doesn't happen a lot. Similarly with the alphas, but here, it's a really big part of the game. Stun counting with certain characters is a good strategy, and so on and so forth. So, oh, also, by the time you get to Alpha 3, it seems like the stun mechanic has been reined in a little bit. And Alpha 1 and Alpha 2, in Alpha 1, everybody has 40 stun points. In Alpha 2, everybody has 40 except for Akuma, who has 44. Or, I'm sorry, he has 34. And Geef does have 50. And when you get stunned, you get 5 hit points back. You get 5 extra stun points. That's a lot of extra stun. It's, you know, 20%. I'm sorry, 12.5%. But even still, that's a lot. CVS2, you get 3. Most people have 60. That's, you know, comparatively very small. And Street Fighter 4, I think you get like 50 points. Most characters have 1,000. Also comparatively very small, so that's also interesting. A lot of interesting things about stun mechanics going on in Street Fighter here. So yeah, by the time you get to Alpha 3, seems like the stun has been reined in. Geef still has 50. Akuma has 34 still. E Honda has 44. So it seems like all grapplers seem to have a little bit of extra stun. El Fuerte has extra stun too. Huh. And also by the time you get to Alpha 3, that mechanic where you get 5 more stun, changes to 10. And it's actually really strange because the way that the stun is assigned, you get 5 when you hit the ground, and then you get like 5 more when you get up. It seems like they changed the code to just add 5 more a few seconds later, rather than, like, you know, changing it to 10 or something, which is pretty funny. But yeah, they changed Ryu's crouch jab to do like 3 stun, and his crouch forward I think does 4 stun. By that time, Dan's moves start to do some real stun too. In the first 2 Alpha games, all of his moves do like 2, 3, or 4 stun. By Alpha 3, they're doing about 8. You know, everybody's fierce is doing about 8. And in Alpha 1, there's actually a lot of moves that do 12 stun on 40 base 40. So that's almost 30% stun. Some moves are like Alpha 1's barely a real game, you know. So anyway, that's what's going on with stun in Street Fighter, and what I find cool about Street Fighter 4 stun is what sets it apart from, you know, CVS2, the other game that I played, and that, you know, stun can go for a long time. You can kind of get hit in between the stun, and, you know, the stun will still be going. CVS2, that's not going to happen. You're going to trade or something, the other guy's going to get away, and the stun won't happen. So here, I stun a guy over some time. Pretty cool things happen. And let's just watch that. Names are going to be withheld here to protect the innocent. This is just Xbox Live. There's nothing special. Doing some random El Fuerte stuff. My nerfed tortilla stun 132. I'm sorry, damage, I don't even know. Yeah, I'm at about 460, 610, and here's where the stun breaks. 730. Flip through him. Yep. Jumping over him, and then he's at 827. Land a tortilla, and right before he's dead. That's a stun. It's just pretty cool. A little bit of a melee. We get a little bit of a trade. And, you know, I think that at that point, other guy's going to feel like the pressure's off if he's not experienced. But nope. Still coming. Gotta watch yourself. So there it is. First in my series of random hot shit. And I guess extra tidbits of information on the side. Thanks for watching. If you like it, I'll do more. Peace.